You work late, you exceed your targets, you get the best performance review on your team, and then promotion cycle comes around and someone else gets it. Someone who seems to do less, someone who leaves at 5, someone who spends half their day in meetings that have nothing to do with their actual job. You tell yourself it was political. You tell yourself the system is broken. But here is what nobody tells you. The system is not broken. You just do not know how it actually works. Because while you have been focused on impressing your manager, 6 other people have been quietly deciding your future. And you have probably never spoken to most of them. This is office warfare, where careers are won, lost, and sometimes sabotaged. And nobody tells you the rules until it is too late. I'm going to show you exactly who these 7 people are. The 2 you already know, the 5 you have been ignoring, how each one influences whether you move up or stay stuck. And most importantly, how to start building relationships with people you did not even know were judging you. Once you see the system, you will never look at your workplace the same way again. Here is the uncomfortable truth about promotions. Stanford professor Jeffrey Pfeffer has spent decades studying power in organizations, and his conclusion is brutal. Performance has a statistically significant but substantively small effect on career advancement. Read that again. Your actual work output matters far less than you think, and it gets worse. Being too good at your current job can actually hurt your career. Your boss may actively work to prevent your advancement because they do not want to lose you. You become indispensable in a role, which sounds like a compliment until you realize it means trapped. Executive coach Marshall Goldsmith puts it bluntly. Women are much more likely to sacrifice their career for their job. But this applies to anyone who becomes so valuable in their current position that promoting them would create a problem. The research backs this up. A landmark study by Fred Luthans tracked 450 managers to see how the most successful ones actually spent their time. The managers who got promoted fastest spent 48% of their time networking, socializing, building relationships, playing politics. The managers who were rated most effective at their actual jobs, they spent only 11% of their time on networking. The people doing the best work and the people getting promoted are not the same people. The study concluded that this challenges the historical assumption that promotions are based on performance, vividly illustrating the importance that social and political skills play in getting ahead. This was not a small study. This was not one company. This was a pattern that repeated across industries and organizations. So if performance does not drive promotions, what does? Relationships. Specifically, relationships with the people who actually make the decision. And that is where most employees get it completely wrong. They focus all their energy on one person, maybe 2. Meanwhile, 5 other people are forming opinions about them in rooms they will never enter. Let me walk you through all 7. Number 1, your direct manager. This is the obvious one. The person who writes your performance review, approves your time off, and supposedly controls your promotion. Most employees treat this relationship as the only one that matters. Your manager initiates the promotion conversation. They write your promotion packet or recommendation. They advocate for you in meetings. But here's what you need to understand. In many organizations, your manager does not actually decide. They propose, they recommend, they make the case. But the final decision happens elsewhere. At Google, your manager is explicitly excluded from the promotion committee. They cannot even vote. Number 2, HR and talent management. Most employees see HR as administrative. The people who handle paperwork and send reminder emails about compliance training, this is a mistake. HR business partners increasingly function as strategic talent advisors. They sit in calibration meetings. They flag concerns about candidates. They shape the conversation about who is ready and who is not. When your manager advocates for your promotion, HR is often the first filter that recommendation passes through. Now here's where it gets interesting. These next 5 are the people most employees completely ignore. Number 3, your skip level manager, your boss's boss. This person frequently holds veto power over promotions. They may never see your daily work, but they see the results. They hear about you secondhand. And when your manager brings your name up for promotion, your skip level has to approve it. Career strategist John Beeson advises in Harvard Business Review to contact the highest level manager who is knowledgeable about your work. Try your boss's boss. At Microsoft, employees describe the promotion process as a mixture of lobbying and personal relationships, where peer managers and skip level managers decide if it goes through. If your skip level does not know who you are, you have a problem. Number 4, peer managers and calibration. This is the one that surprises people most. Most organizations use something called calibration meetings. This is where managers from across different teams sit in a room and compare employees. They rank people. They debate who deserves to move up and who needs more time. These peer managers, people who run teams you may never interact with, vote on your promotion. They form opinions based on reputation, secondhand information, and whatever stories have traveled through the organization about you. Only 42% of organizations calibrate both at the team level and the promotion committee level. That means in most companies, people who have never worked with you directly are making decisions about your career. Number 5, your sponsor. This is different from a mentor, and the distinction is critical. A mentor talks to you. They give advice. They help you learn. A sponsor talks about you. They advocate for you in rooms you're not in. They spend their political capital to advance your career. Research from Yale found that sponsorship is one of the strongest predictors of promotions and salaries, roughly equivalent to the number of hours someone works. For promotion prospects, sponsorship matters more than gender, more than personality, more than education, more than experience. Yet only 23% of employees have a sponsor. 40% have mentors. But mentors cannot promote you. Sponsors can. The data is stark. Employees with sponsors earn up to 11.6% more than unsponsored colleagues. And here is the gap that should concern you. Only 5% of Black employees have a sponsor compared to 20% of white employees. The sponsorship gap is real, and it explains promotion gaps that performance alone cannot account for. Number 6, cross-functional stakeholders. These are people from other departments who experience your work. Maybe you collaborated on a project with someone from marketing. Maybe someone in finance sees your budget requests. Maybe an engineer in another division reviewed your technical specs. During calibration, these people get asked for informal references. At McKinsey, senior partners conduct interviews with as many colleagues as it takes to get a complete picture, sometimes 15 or more people. If the only people who know your work are on your immediate team, you are invisible to this network. Number 7, gatekeepers and administrative influencers. This one sounds strange, but it is real. Executive assistants control access to senior leaders. Project leads decide who gets assigned to high visibility work. Committee members screen candidates before they reach decision makers. These people do not have formal authority over your promotion, but they control the flow of opportunity. They can open doors or quietly close them. Research on organizational influence calls this indirect withholding. They can block your advancement without ever appearing on an org chart. Let me show you how this plays out in real companies. At Google, the process is deliberately designed to strip power from your direct manager. Employees self-nominate or get nominated by their manager. The manager writes a detailed promotion packet. 360-degree peer feedback is collected. And then a calibration committee of 5 to 12 managers reviews all packets and makes the decision. Your manager is explicitly excluded from this committee. They cannot vote on your promotion. The rationale, according to former Google executive Kim Scott, is that taking unilateral power away from managers allows good relationships to exist. Your manager can be your advocate without being your judge. At Amazon, bar raisers function as impartial evaluators during calibration. The company emphasizes comprehensive self-documentation, showing alignment with their leadership principles. Employees describe relatively low promotion rates, with average timelines of 5 to 6 years for senior roles. Some take 8 to 10 years. The key insight from Amazon is that exceptional work without documentation and visibility does not translate to promotion. You have to make your impact visible to people beyond your immediate team. At Goldman Sachs, the partner selection process uses something called cross-roughing. Current partners are given names of potential partners from other divisions, along with performance reviews and photographs. They interview colleagues who have actually worked with candidates. The striking detail is that candidates are not told they are being considered. And if not promoted, they receive no feedback. Getting promoted depends entirely on getting current partners on your side, often without knowing you are even being evaluated. Now look at your own workplace. Think about the last promotion cycle. How many of these 7 people do you actually have relationships with? Your manager, probably. HR, maybe. But your skip level? Do they know your name? Do they know your wins? The peer managers who sit in calibration meetings for your level, have you ever had a real conversation with any of them? Do you have a sponsor, not a mentor, but someone who actively advocates for you when you are not in the room? What about cross-functional stakeholders? If someone from another department was asked about your work, what would they say? Would they have anything to say at all? The Center for Creative Leadership found that in 81% of promotion cases, the people promoted had a career facilitating relationship with someone higher in the organization who helped their visibility. 81%. The most compelling reason for promotion was often being in the right place during a major restructuring. Certain people happened to have the necessary mix of skills and were visible to decision makers at just the time when the job became available. Visibility, not just performance. If you are only focused on impressing your direct manager, you are playing 1/7 of the game, and you are wondering why people who seem to do less keep getting promoted ahead of you. Here is what to do about it. First, identify your calibration participants. Ask HR or your manager who sits in calibration meetings for your level. These are the people whose opinions directly determine your advancement. You need to know who they are. Second, Build relationships 1 to 2 levels up. Your skip level manager often has decisive influence. Find legitimate reasons to interact with them. Volunteer for projects they care about. Send occasional updates on high impact work. Make sure they know who you are before your name comes up for promotion. Third, cultivate a sponsor, not just a mentor. This requires demonstrating value first. Sponsors put their reputation on the line when they advocate for you. They need evidence you are worth the risk. Find someone senior who benefits from your success and make yourself indispensable to their goals. Fourth, document everything. Keep detailed records of your contributions, your impact metrics, and your leadership moments. When calibration happens, your manager needs ammunition. Give them a highlight reel they can use to fight for you. Fifth, bridge disconnected networks. The people who get promoted fastest are often the ones who connect different groups, become the person who knows people across departments. This gives you visibility, information, and advocates in multiple rooms. The game does not change. Promotions have always been about more than performance. The research is clear. The fastest promoted managers spend 48% of their time networking, while the most effective performers spend 11%. That gap is not an accident. It is the system working exactly as designed. You're not paranoid. You're paying attention. And now you know who is actually in the room when your future gets decided. If this shifted how you see your workplace, hit subscribe. The game has more levels. I will show you each one.